Whether you are a student or a professional, chances are you have a life that requires a lot of sitting. Whether it be listening to lectures for 8 hours a day or typing at a computer until you finish that important project, studies have shown that the average American sits at a desk for about 9-10 hours a day. Whether you are a student or a professional, chances are you have a life that requires a lot of sitting. Whether it be listening to lectures for 8 hours a day or typing at a computer until you finish that important project, studies have shown that the average American sits at a desk for about 9-10 hours a day. So let's break that down. If we assume the average American is also working 5 days a week for roughly 9 hours for about 30 years, that adds up to 492,750 hours of sitting. And that doesn't even include the time we sit on our drive to work, school, or while we binge watch our favorite show. Sitting in itself isn't necessarily a bad habit, but sitting a lot is detrimental. When you sit too often in your day-to-day life, you could experience an early death due to cardiovascular diseases and even cancer, posture problems and issues in your back and shoulders, decreased hip flexibility, poor blood circulation, and even organ problems. One research has proven that sitting for long periods can even lead to obesity and metabolism issues. This can be a vicious cycle, since the heavier and more unhealthy you are can make it harder and harder to try to get up and move. One recent study compared adults who actively spent less than 2 hours a day in front of a screen with those who habitually spent more than 4 hours a day sitting. Those with greater screen time had an increased risk of death by any of the aforementioned causes by 50% and a 125% increased risk of heart attack. With so much research proving sitting is a quiet killer, it seems surprising that so many of us are guilty of indulging in hours and hours of it. But it can be challenging to avoid sitting for long periods. Whether working or studying, sitting happens. And when you come home from a long day at school or work, you can feel mentally drained, leading you to more hours of downtime while you relax with a TV show. Habits like sitting down can also be hard to break when you're surrounded by people doing the exact same thing. After all, when you go into work and sit at your desk, you're most likely surrounded by other people also sitting at their desks. So it may not occur to you that this is a negative behavior. And if you tend to be a little shy, the last thing you may feel inspired to do is to stand up while everyone around you is sitting down. Unfortunately, many of us try to avoid standing for any extended amount of time because it wears us out. But really it's just that we aren't as used to it as we are sitting or lying down.